Good morning. How's everybody? Nice to see you all. So here we go. We've got my YouTube channel kind of getting that set up. So there might be some glitches, but bear with it. We'll get there for sure. But today, April 8th, birthdays. Let me see. Who do we have here? Oh, Celia Anderson. And we've got Jaden Brown. And we've got Anna Dalampo. We've got Zyphon Lee. We've got Zoe Lasoni. And those are our birthdays for Wednesday, April the 8th. So happy birthday to all of you. Right, so today we've done baking. I've got a hot cross bun recipe I'm going to upload, send that to you. Now we're going to get going on some other things that I said we would do. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how to do a rolled pork loin. Okay, we're going to roll it, make some apple sauce. We're going to make one of my favorite dinners. We're going to make a rolled pork loin. We're going to do some lemon roasted potatoes and some vegetables. Really simple. And I'll show you how to do it, and it's aces. All right, one of my favorite meals. So let's start off. First of all, I get a little kosher salt, put that on here like so. Salt and pepper on this tenderloin. You can have a look here. If there's any bits of like this bit in here, you can trim this. Okay. Notice I'm using the knife away from me. Okay, safety first, right? Always. All right, so we're just going to trim this. Okay, just the bits of gristle that are a little hard. Be careful you're not taking off too much. You're not taking off any meat. So you can just tilt that blade up. You see how I'm doing that? Just tilt it up. Then I've got this bit of tendon here, and I'm just trimming it. Just like that. There we go. Okay, now, butcher's cord. You might not have it. That's okay. When you do get it from Home Depot. It's like $3. So here we are. I'm going to put some of this down on here now. Okay, grocery stores have it as well. Okay, so beautiful. Right, then what I'm going to do is just get a knife and just come in here like this. You can twist it a little bit. Don't use too much. All right, and then what I'm going to do is just get little slithers. Notice how I'm holding the knife, 3 fingers and pinch, use the claw. All right, just like that, beautiful. And now I'm gonna come in here like this, and I'm gonna put these little bits of garlic in here like so. All right, just like that. Don't need too many. Depends how much garlic you like, I guess. All right. This is a really inexpensive, delicious meal. Now, like I said, if you had a whole pork loin, even better. And but we don't have one. So this is what I thought you could do for a nice Easter, over the Easter holidays. If you can pick one up, you can feed a lot of people on it. It's really good, and the leftovers delicious. Right, so there's that part there. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna lay I'm gonna put down five butcher's cord down here like this. Whoops. Right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is one of our favorite ones our grade 9s do. It's really fun, and we make pork sandwiches out of it. But today we're going to do it with vegetables. So what we're going to do now, rosemary. Okay, get a nice long bit. This is fresh rosemary. Just lay this down here like that, and you get a rash of bacon. Just like this. Lay that on top. Now, if you do this the night before, it's better. And the reason why it's better is the seasoning will permeate the meat. Okay, so I quite like that. So then I'm going to do another one on top. Just like this. Another rush of bacon. Put that on top like that. And then get a little bit of that here like this. And then all I'm going to do is I'm just going to, you know what, I'm going to use 6. This tenderloin's quite long. Just go under here like this. Simple. Right. There we are. Beautiful. Now, I'm going to go through here. Watch. Half hitch. 1, 2. And then it holds. And then just go like this. Easy. All right. And again. Ready? Over the top. 1, 2. Just like that. Now, if you have... I've got 5 here. So I'm going to do them all up today. And I can have leftovers. Okay. Like I said, if we had a whole loin, this is a tenderloin. If I had a whole loin, it would be much bigger. But We don't. So you make what you've got to do. When you do this, don't do it too tight. Okay? So there's one here. So we're going to make applesauce. All right? So simple. I've got some apples. I've cut them up already. I'll show you a couple of ways to cut them. I've just put a knob of butter in there. It's a little hot, so I took it off the heat. So that's okay, no big deal. You want to get nice and caramelized. So I've got some apples. Got a couple of, I like to rub some cinnamon sticks. Gets a bit of flavor out. Anyway, throw those in there. So first of all, Granny Smith apples. You can use any apple you like to make this applesauce. I have a friend of mine who's a chef, and he's from Arizona, and he showed me this dish, and he showed me how to make a really cool applesauce. So I've got a peeler. Here we go. So 3 fingers and pinch inside here like this, quarter it. Like to take the pips off, or the seeds as you say. Okay, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna cut this like so. Okay, again, once more, 3 fingers and pinch like this. Okay, and then you can go here like this. All right, so you get these apples nicely cut up. Okay, just like so. All right, and I'm gonna get these cooking. That's what you want. You wanna do it nice and slow. So I've got this heat on, like, oh, I've got it on low. Okay, so medium low. Nothing really hot, okay? Because you wanna do it slowly, because what we wanna do is caramelize these apples. We wanna get these apples caramelized. So we call them like toffee apples or caramel apples. That's what you want. They want that nice flavor. So with the pork loin and the lemon roasted potatoes, just delicious. Okay. Okay. So here we are here. So I've got some apples I've got in here, and you can see. Here we are. All right. So I'm just going to keep that going. All right. And I wish you were here because my students, and I bought this because it's fun, and I love fun, right? So what do students love this gizmo? My dog likes it too. If he was at home, he'd be sitting right there, and I could give him all this. It'd be like apple spaghetti. Absolutely loves it. So what you do is I got this from the hardware store. Now the handles come off, but no big deal. And then what I'm going to do is you just go like this. And what it does is it cores it. Whoops! It will core it and do the whole thing for you. Oh, isn't that cool? Look at this. Totally cool. And then go like that. And there we are. We have a cored apple. I might trim this up just a little bit. Okay. So here's another way of doing it. Just put this in here like that. And I'm going to put these apples in here like this. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to peel these apples all together. And then I'm just going to flip this like this, all right? All right, you put a little bit of salt in. You don't need a lot, but just a little bit. All right, just keep that going for right now. Just build up some flavors, okay? So I'm gonna finish off peeling these, and I'm gonna... So we're back, applesauce. So I use the gizmo, which is easy, but you can cut it. You can use your knife skills. I used, let me see now, I think 7 or 8 apples. You guys, depending on how many you have, we always seem to run out of applesauce. And if you do a lot of this, you know, you can always have it for leftovers, because the pork tenderloin or pork loin makes fantastic sandwiches. So put some applesauce in there, delicious. Now, the applesauce, okay, I put some cinnamon sticks in there. Okay, I put some salt. All right, now it's starting to discolor a bit. Okay, so roll it over and make it juicy, and then just squeeze it. Squeeze that over there, and it just helps it discolor. It's acetic acid. Okay, and then you can give this a little mix. Just get a little going over. Right, now, so I've added some apples. I've got a couple of cinnamon sticks, and what I'm going to do is I've added a good knob of butter. I'm going to add a little more. Okay. Whoops. All right, so I add a little knob of butter. Now, I've got some brown sugar. Now, go easy on this, kids. I know what you guys can be like. So you can always add a little bit of sugar. You don't want it too sweet. Okay, you want it tart. I'm just going to add some sugar. I think that might be enough, actually. Now my brown sugar hasn't been stored properly. Probably some student forgot to put some bread in here. I'm just joking. So here we are. Now look, this stuff I kind of discovered. I kind of like it. It's vegetable stock. It's concentrated. What I like about it is you can have it in the fridge and it's always on hand. The cartons are better, but you got to use them all the time. This guy, get a little teaspoon of that or tablespoon. Look, in there. A little bit of boiling water on it. Right. I'm going to use this for gravy as well for when we have the later. So I'm going to go like this and give this a little mix. And I've got some vegetable stock. Now you might go, vegetable stock in applesauce? Well, yeah. When Chef showed me, he actually used chicken stock. But I think vegetable stock will work just fine. So we're going to go here like this, right? And then what you're going to do, let this kind of all melt in there with this nice hot water, all right? And then what you're going to do with this applesauce, I'm going to turn it up just a little bit, give it a little mix. You want it to break down, right? And you want to keep, we won't cover it yet, but what you want to do is just kind of build the flavors of it. You can put it off to the side. The lovely thing about, whoops, we've got a runaway there. So the little, one of the lovely things about this is your house will smell delicious. So that's really nice. So I'm going to get a little bit of vegetable stock and I'm just going to put some in there. There we go. Not too much. That's it. How much was that? That was about a quarter of a cup. All right. So what I've got to do is we've got to do potatoes. I wish you were here for this, especially because we need potato peelers and you guys are the best at that. I'm good at it as well. I just got a lot. So we're going to peel these potatoes and what we're going to do is you can roast them when they haven't been parboiled, but to speed things up, you can parboil them. You don't have to do this because otherwise the potatoes will take a little bit longer to do, but I'm going to parboil them today. Okay. Now, this is where we need to be a bit careful here. Okay. So you need to be able to organize this and make sure that you are with your parents and your parents are knowing what's going on, because we're not making toast here. You're boiling water. We've got things going on. So you need to be mindful of that. Okay. Now, these potatoes, the way I want you to do these is cut them like this, lengthwise. All right, we can cut them here like that. Have pieces about this big. Put them in some water, okay? And I'm gonna do all the potatoes, and I'm gonna put them in this saucepan, and I'm gonna simmer them for about 8-9 minutes, okay? And then all right, so you can see the applesauce here, it's cooking away. All right, I'm gonna add a little more butter, just a little bit, all right? And I just wanna get that caramelization going. Again, make sure that the temperature's on low, okay? You need the temperature on low, and the reason why is because you wanna get the sugars out, okay? You wanna get the sugars out of the apple, and you wanna do it slowly so it doesn't burn and you get that rich flavor, all right? So I'm just going to keep that going. It's on low, okay, and I'll let this cook a little more and I get a little more color. So the next part to one of my favorite meals, you can, do this over Easter or another weekend, but you could plan for it. But it's pretty inexpensive and super fun. We're just going to do some carrots now, okay? So I've got some carrots and I'm just going to peel these, okay, and then I'll show you how we want them done, insofar as what cut we want, okay? So I fully understand we've kind of jumped ahead of, like we were doing in our classes, but that being said, we've missed a lot of time, so it's Easter, so I thought I would let you do something a little more advanced. So here we are here. That's a good size for a roasted veg. Okay, then I'll cut that in half here. Okay, so we want to get nice big sizes of carrot about this size. We do quite a few of them. I'm going to do quite a lot because there's some people that I can feed and have leftovers. So I'm going to do these carrots, get them ready. I'm going to do some onion, and we're going to have that with some peas, and I'll show you how to do that. And this meal is well on its way, and we're almost finished. Okay, so this is done. Just gave it a taste. I added a little more brown sugar. and I gave it a little squeeze of lemon. It was a little, just to finish her off, okay? And you can, if you want to use a hand wand blender or put it in the blender, you can, but I'm not into making a bunch of washing up, so I'm just going to use the back of the fork. So I'm just going to go like this. You know, it's only applesauce, okay? So that's kind of the color we want. Flavor's delicious, okay? I finished it off with some little bit of vegetable stock, so it's all done there, and I've turned it off. And all I'm going to do is put it in a bowl, let it cool down, and we're ready. Now onto the potatoes. Okay, so I've got parboiled potatoes here. Give them a little going over, okay? And what I would do is put a little bit of salt on there. Oops, my reach. Some olive oil. I like to do this first. All right, and a little bit of salt. Okay, and I'm just gonna give those a little going over. I'm not gonna add any pepper right now either. So I've got a little bit of oil in there. Now, one of the things you've got to remember is that these have a lot of moisture and we want them crispy if we can. So a couple of things, you've got to be careful not overcrowding the pan, and you want to make sure that you're going to use a lot of heat. Okay, so this roasting pan is out of the oven. I've turned this on to preheat. Okay, but we want this nice and hot. A couple things. Here we are here. I've got good oven mitts. Be mindful. I don't want you guys getting burnt, okay? So you make sure that you've done this right. Make sure you've got two. It could be heavy, but make sure you've got good oven mitts and always have them available. All right, so a little bit of olive oil. Okay, now this makes a difference in a hot pan, and we know that, right? If this pan's cold, they tend to stick. Okay, so what I'm gonna do now is I'm going to put these in here. I don't have a spatula, so I'm gonna move these around. Oh, I like to hear that sound. A little hiss and fizz, eh? Right, now, so I'm gonna give this a good going over now. Now you can use a spatula. Oops, we've got to run away. Sorry, guys. So, and I'm going to pop this in the oven now. Go. So you just kind of, you know, watch them a little bit. They're not going to cook very long because they're quite small. But yeah, so we're just going to move it around and we'll have a look in about 3 minutes. Go. So you just kind of, you know, watch them a little bit. They're not going to cook very long because they're quite small. But yeah, so we're just going to move it around and we'll have a look in about. Look at those beauties, they're browning up, and I'm just going to get my oven mitts and pop them in the oven, 375, and should take, you know, 20-25 minutes. I'll get a meat thermometer, we'll check it, 160. You can pull it out at 155. You want it to let it rest as well, and I'll be back. We've got the potatoes. I've got a few ovens at home. You won't be making as much. So I've got the potatoes in. I've got the pork loin in, and now all I'm going to do is do the veggies. Now, because we have, you know, we've used up some oven space, which you would have on any roast dinner, I've got a really great way of doing vegetables that you can caramelize and make it really delicious, and you can do them on top of the stove. So here we go. I'm going to put a little bit of oil. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some carrots in. Oh, there we are. A little hiss and fizz. I preheated this like medium. So we're going to give this some heat. Just a little knob of butter, not much. There we go. Some salt. And then my red onion. You don't have to put this in here, but I love it. So here we are. So I'm just gonna, it's on medium. I let it preheat. Okay, so I'm gonna let this cook for a little bit. All right, and then once it starts to brown, we're gonna slow it down, put a lid on it. You can maybe add a little bit of maple syrup, and then we'll see how it all goes. Okay, so you've got the potatoes. They're looking really good. I'm just going to hit them with a little bit more olive oil, not too much. Cracked pepper. And all I do is just, I've got some lemon zest. Throw that in there. I know, you can put saffron in there, things like that. I'm just going to give this a good old mix in here. It smells delicious. Alright. And there we are. And I'll put this back in the oven. And they're done. So you can have a look at these glistening little beauties. So vegetable stock, we had some maple syrup. Like I said, we could have some honey. Starting to caramelize. A little bit of vegetable stock. I'm just going to add a little bit in here. That's it, good. And then what I like to add are some, I like to add some peas. And I don't add them at the beginning because they'll overcook. So towards the end, I finish them with some peas. Some frozen peas, look at that, peas and carrots, eh? Easy peasy, lemon squeezy, kids. All right, just have to look at it, all right? And you're almost finishing this delicious meal that you could make over Easter or over the time that we had together. All right, here we go. Pop the lid on there. I might turn that up just a little bit. That's going to be done in 10 minutes, and then I can just turn it off. Pork loin's done. Okay, for the gravy, we turn that there. It's reducing, which is nice. Now, what I've got here is you can use flour, but I've started to use garbanzo bean or chickpea flour for those people that are gluten-free, and it works just as good. And it imparts a nice flavor. So I'm going to put this in here. Now, this technique of using gravy, I'm sure you guys, you might have seen your dad or your mum do this. What I like to do now is, with all this flour, what you want to do is collect this all, and you want to kind of cook this. You want to cook this is what you want to do. You want to get this all picked up. Pick up all the yummy good bits on the bottom. Okay, and you want to cook that. You want to cook it, so you're making a roux, is what you're doing. All right, so you see that there? That's nice. See that? Beautiful. So you want to get all those nice little good bits, like this. Hey!
Are you filming?
Yeah, it's Miss Sylvester. Hi, Miss Sylvester, how are you?
Hey, everybody!
So we're making some gravy here, and we've got some garbanzo bean flour in here, so it's gluten-free.
Nice. Hey everybody!
Now, can you pass me that jug there, please?
This guy right here?
Yeah.
For sure. Ooh, it's one a little broth? Is this broth? What is this?
Yeah, it's vegetable stock.
Nice.
Okay, so we've got some vegetable stock here, folks. And what we're going to do is we're going to add this in here, and we're going to start mixing. I would let Miss Sylvester do this, but she's got her nice vest on, and I'm thinking
no splashies.
no splashy.
Looking
And
good.
we're going to bring this up, and we're going to make a nice gravy, and then we're going to strain it, and we are done.
So could you use a whisk for that?
You could. I have a
Might make it a
gizmo
little
at home. Yeah. There's little gizmos and stuff you can buy. So guys, if you want, you know, for Christmas next year, you could buy Chef one for the school, a gravy mixer.
We don't like lumps in the gravy.
No lumpy gravy.
A little whisk helps with that.
Oh, that's coming along, isn't it? Let's give that a little going over, nice and thick consistency. Nice. Now, if you want to make it nice and richer, you can put a little knob of butter in here if you want, but I'm not going to do that. So now, all I'm going to do is, guys, I've got a strainer here, and it's a double. So it works really well for things like this. And as Mrs. Sylvester said, we don't want any lumpy gravy. So what I'm going to do now is just pour that in here like that. There we go. Turn that off. There we are. Gravy, perfect. So, my lovelies, don't get emotional here. Happy Easter. Start with prayer in the name of the Father, Son, Holy Spirit, Amen. Blessed our Lord, these are gifts that we're about to receive from thy bounty through Christ our Lord. Amen. I love you all.